How y'all doing today, my friends? Welcome to part 16 of the Chris Chan and Alec Benson Leary phone call series. Now today, we're gonna jump right back into it today with Alec telling Chris how you're being irresponsible and you're not giving your fans any type of conversation because all of them are sending you all these questions in the mailbag and you're not responding to them properly. And Chris brings up how, guys are calling him bigoted and everything and he can't understand that. And Alec tells him, well, you are bigoted. Because at the time, any visible observer would be able to see that Chris was one of the most bigoted people around. I mean, he didn't want acts to sell to gay people. He didn't want anything for these people, and you're about to find out he still feels that way, very, very much so. But let's just get into it so you can hear it for yourselves. So, as I say in the beginning of all these, full part without my commentary down below, as well as all previous parts, the Discord and my Twitch channel is down there below, so go check it out. But let's jump right back into this.
You've made plenty of offensive comments about homosexuals, which they could, and plenty have, interpreted as attacks by you. And so when someone asks you about them, how is that an attack on you?
And that letter you just read about, they call me bigoted.
That's because you are bigoted.
I am not bigoted.
You hate homosexuals. How many times?
Actually, thanks to Jack Daddy site recently, I actually see them in a more positive light.
Is that the same Jack Daddy that is an evil villain that does underhanded deals for ad space?
What?
Well, you kind of flip-flop a lot.
So Chris using Jack Thaddeus as an excuse and saying that he's learned so much from Jack is quite funny when we've heard the phone calls between Chris and Jack, and all Jack is like just a kid being like the biggest type of asshole he can to Chris. But Chris wants to say that, he's learned a lot from Jack. He's learned a lot from Jack Thaddeus. And as Alec brings up, it's the same guy that Chris is always complaining about due to the ad space and how he controls all the ad space. So, with all that being said, you're about to find out that Chris means nothing about what he's saying right now the second he's asked a different question, because it's almost like he completely forgets about what he's saying here in about 30 seconds.
No, forget what I said.
Well, for information, though, specifically, Jack Darius just told me about homosexuals from his point of view, and how that they would never make any actions towards me because I'm not even that attractive to him.
Chris,
because he's a homosexual.
Uh-huh.
So basically what Chris is saying here is that he's talked with Jack Thaddeus, and Jack Thaddeus has told him that you're not attractive to me, Chris. You wouldn't be attractive to any other gay men. Just trying to, put Chris down with an insult. Chris took that as a positive. He's like, oh, really? Awesome. So I guess none of these guys would ever come after me. And it's one of those things Chris doesn't understand about attraction. He thinks, oh, cool, no gay men would like me, but I bet you every single woman out there would. But yeah, he's trying to explain why he's not bigoted by saying that, yeah, I've talked with a gay guy and he's assured me that no other gay people will be attracted to me, so I can steer clear of them. That's what he's saying here and trying to describe. And like I said, as you'll hear, it just gets worse and worse from here in Chris describing how he is not, I repeat, not bigoted.
I've actually been hit on. I've been hit on by homosexuals once in a while. It happens to me in my life.
Okay.
I never got ticked off by it. I never saw it as offensive. I mean, I'm not gay, so I wouldn't really be interested. But if someone, man or woman, thinks I'm attractive, then well, it's flattering, even if I'm not interested.
See, Chris doesn't really know why he hates these people so much. It's all deep-rooted in the stuff Bob believed, and Chris clearly just takes after his parents and everything they do because it's the only people he's ever been around. So because Bob hated them so much and he heard all these things from Bob, it's things that he parrots and acts like he knows everything about. But as you can see, like I said, Chris, he's just really weirded out by the thought of this, and it's incredible to think that when we see how far Chris has come.
Why would you think it's an attack if a gay person finds you attractive? I take it as a compliment that people think I'm attractive.
Well, still, I mean, if a homosexual came up to me and flirted with me like that, I'll let them know. No, I'll let them know that. No,
That you're not interested.
I cannot accept that because I'm not interested. I am straight.
Okay, well, that's
And then leave it at that.
that sounds like a good.
If the guy continues on like that after the warning, then I would get really mad.
Well, that's understandable. And you know what? That happens not just with gay people. I mean, straight people, plenty of straight people have trouble getting the hint. I mean, guys all the time, there are guys who, hit on a girl and she says, no, thank you, I'm not interested. And they just keep pressing the point, overstepping their boundaries, trying to hold their hands, things like that. That is, in a situation like that, it's perfectly acceptable to get offended if they don't respect, or if they don't respect your decline, your negative response. You see.
I do think it's brilliant for Alec to tie Chris's whole thing about, if these people kept pressing the point, I'd be really offended and I'd be mad about it, right back to Chris being creepy on his dates with every, sweetheart he went out with. It was Casey, it was Emily, and each one he tried to, touch smell their hair. He tried to kiss Emily before the date ended when she was, clearly not into him. He tried to hold hands with, everyone. Every date he's ever gone on, he's always overstepped his boundaries. And it's one thing that Alec does in these calls and the Lars calls. He tries to put things Chris has done in different situations and see how Chris would react to them. And in almost each one, Chris is like, oh, that's terrible, or, I would never do that if this person did that to me. But he doesn't understand that he's doing the same stuff, but it's not a problem when he does it to him, because he can't just understand that he's doing it. But it's real funny when Alec ties all this stuff back, because it really just shows you just how blind Chris is to this stuff.
But when did you talk to Jack about this homosexual thing? When did you have that conversation?
It was like over a week ago.
When did you answer mailbag 52? Pretty sure it was less than a week ago, wasn't it? Because if your issues with homosexuals are resolved now, then why couldn't you, offer a simple response to that?
And already Chris has caught another lie claiming that he spoke to Jack about this, a while ago, or maybe even what did he say, a week ago? But no, his mailbag was already, it wouldn't have coincided with that. So Chris would have understood this by then, because he's claiming he understands this now. He didn't when the mailbag was written. And it's just classic Chris to just keep lying about this stuff. He can't help himself. He gets caught in this all the time, and he just kind of either stays quiet or he says some absolute nonsense to try to make himself sound right. And as I said, just wait, because that's going to crumble apart pretty soon. It just is taking a little bit longer than I thought. I thought it was going to be earlier, but I think we're getting to that point just about now.
Okay, here's what you could have said. Well, just to be clear, do you still want a vaccine for homosexuals?
I'm sorry, I did not understand that. Could you repeat that, please?
Do you want to create a vaccine to eliminate homosexuality? Do you understand that?
Yeah, okay, I understood that. So, yeah, you're asking me that right now. Or
yes.
you just let me know. Okay.
No, I'm asking you right now.
Okay.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
In an attempt to make a better world, I would support it. I would support that.
See, this just further proves that he's saying anything that comes to his mind to try to get Alec off his back. All he's thinking are excuses. All he's thinking is defensively, He can't just sit here and go, all right, let me think, let me think critically, which is crazy for me to think of Chris doing that. But he can't just sit down and go, all right, let me just acknowledge this. He can't. All he can do is be on the fucking defensive because he feels like this guy's just throwing attack after attack after attack at him. And then he just further proves that all of these quote unquote attacks are completely valid because he's acting that way and not seeing it. Like, he just sat there and got so offended and said, oh, they're calling me bigoted, they're insulting me. And then just seconds later, after talking about how he understands all this now by talking with Jack Thaddeus, it's just, okay, yeah, I'd support that, because he's not even, all that stuff they just talked about, that's already out of his mind. That's gone. That should have never even happened, you know? It might as well have never even happened, because Chris doesn't remember that. All Chris thinks is, hey, now that we're talking about this topic, let me tell him my true and honest opinion, because this is something I actually think about. So, like, you'll never get an upright answer from Chris, because he'll always think of something to just either make himself sound better, in that specific situation. It's just, he'll always have an answer for something, and it's always not the right answer. It's always a lie. It's always just something that he's making up. Because that's the one thing you gotta remember about Chris. Almost everything in his world is make-believe, even his answers to legitimate questions.
Okay, so when you said that you don't have problems with gays anymore, that wasn't actually true. Chris, well, like I said, I'm not gay, but I have a number of gay friends. A few family members that are gay, and that's part of who they are. That's part of their identity. Why would you want to take that away from them? What about removing homosexuality would make the world a better place?
See, it's like the worst thing when Chris does this, you know? He'll say these things, you know, he'll say very timidly that he'll support a vaccine and all this stuff, but, like, dude, he never has an answer for anything. I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse because I've been talking about it for hours now in these phone calls, but this one in particular, it's like, how do you not have an answer for that if it's something that you so truly and fervently believe in? All Alex is asking is, what would make the world a better place about, like, there being no gays? And Chris just, all he does is stress sigh. Because he knows, like, I think deep down he knows, oh, well, I do believe this, but anything I say now will make me look bad, so, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to look bad, even though I truly believe it. That's all this is to him. He just doesn't want to admit a damn thing, but he will slip up and say it when he thinks he's in, like, a safe spot to say it in, but, like, when he's actually getting pressed on it, he knows he's being pressed on it, and he knows not to talk on it, because, you know, it's just, do I think he has an answer for it? Yeah, I do, but I think he doesn't want to say it, and it's just, it's just ridiculous.
Shouldn't be that hard, Chris, because you already established a predicate that no gays equals world is a better place. So, having said that, that must mean that you do have an idea of how the two things are connected.
What two things?
Chris, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
At this point, he's not even paying attention, and throughout most of these calls, he hasn't been paying attention, but this is one of the most clear-cut examples of it. I mean, you can hear the TV going in the background. Chris is just probably watching TV, zoned out, hearing a few words this guy says every couple seconds or so. But the thing is, you know, Alec is throwing him these softball questions, asking him things that any person in their right mind should be able to answer if they're, like, truly believing this way. You know, Chris is trying to defend himself, saying that, oh, he doesn't think this way, he's not bigoted. But when Alec asks him simple questions, like, he just can't answer it because he knows the answer he's going to give makes him sound like a bigot. And genuinely, I don't even think Chris knows what the word bigot means. He probably just thought it was an insult that people would throw at him, and he's just offended by any type of mean word, even if it's, like, describing him to a T. So, like, he's just trying to defend himself from something I don't even think he knows fully about.
Chris, you said no gays equals a world is a better place. That no gays is point one. That connects to world is better,
Okay.
point two. How do those connect?
Okay.
What is...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, now I get it. I mean, it's just that, you know, I'm getting I'm getting an incoming call right now, and it's like
you should probably ignore. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
so
like
please.
It's hard to know because it's like it cancels your vocal input out at that point when the.
Oh, okay. Well, did you? Yeah. Did you hear my point though? Please explain how no gays equals world better.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying that as in reference to them as people. I'm saying that in reference and like.
Well, removing homosexuality equals world better. Explain that.
Because there will be less risk of those people going to hell.
He tries to sound so snarky and confident when he says hell. You know, because he really thinks he's got Alec on this one, where Alec's going to go, you know what, Chris, I see you there. We're 100% right. But it's like, no, like you're just pushing what your dad has said, and you have no answer. So you're just thinking of like insults that your dad probably has said to them over the years. Now, all of them are going to go to hell. So Chris thinks, oh, that's something I can throw out here. That definitely doesn't make me sound any worse. But. And as I've said, he has no answer to anything that's been asked of him. And now when he's like super pressed into a corner where Alec is asking him like over and over, what is this? He's going to rely on like religion or something. Because it's when all else fails, I guess you just look to the Lord. Or in this case, look downstairs. Chris just always has such weird answers for these things.
Hell.
Yeah, when they die.
What do you... Oh, you mean instead of heaven?
Yeah.
So you're saying gay people go to hell? So you're a Christian then?
He's a Christine now.
If you believe that? What, like, it's been a while since I've read a Bible. Where in the Bible is that whole gays go to hell thing?
It's implied within parts of the Bible.
The only books in Chris's life that I'd put money on it that he's read are like real childish books, things we read back in like kindergarten. He's probably read are there any Sonic books out there? Did they write any books about Sonic? Because I bet you he sure as shit tried to read them. Probably got a few pages in, then wanted to go pick up the video games again. But no, I guarantee you more than anything, Chris was never once picked up a Bible for his own interest, being like, let me go see what Jesus was doing back then. Let me go take a gander real quick at what was going on in the scripture. He would never, not once. And for him to say this is just, this is so ridiculous to me, because you are the last person to try to say, oh no, it's implied somewhere in there, because I'm pretty sure it might be. But at the same time, it's just, you're not the one to say that, because you've never even opened the book.
Well, I understandably, it's implied in parts of the Bible. I'm asking where. I'm not a Christian, so I don't have to read the Bible, but you're a Christian. When's the last time you read the Bible?
Yeah, I have read the Bible. But
you're sitting here judging people based off their sexuality without even knowing, what parts of the Bible... Hey,
the way Alex starts frantically going like, hey, Chris, he just thought of something just clicked in his mind, and he's got an idea on something to grill Chris with. And sadly, today's going to be a bit of a shorter video, but we got a little bit more here to look at, so don't go anywhere yet. But this next little part here is just such a great put down of Chris. It's one of the better ones you'll ever hear, because Alec really just puts Chris in his place here. And the final line, what we'll end on today, which you'll soon hear, is I think just a real punch in the gut to anyone. Just makes Chris look like an absolute fool. And we'll get there right about now.
You know what else the Bible condemns? Black magic.
So?
How many times have you tried to curse people? Cursing is black magic. Curse ye ha me ha.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying right now.
Yeah, this time right here, this particular time, you can see that Chris knows he's been called out on his shit, and he's like, okay, Okay, you know what? You got me on this one, Alec. I see where you're going with this one here. I know exactly what you're about to get into. And I do genuinely wonder if Chris ever once sat down and thought, man, maybe he's right. Maybe I do got to stop doing that. And that's why he did stop doing it, like, after, because was Chris still doing the Curse Hameha up past, like, 2011? I feel like it was a thing he was doing back in his college days, and more is when he was, like, in the big trolling sagas. I don't know. I mean, clearly around here he was doing it because he gave one to Mao and had to give a forgiveness blessing. So I guess I answered my own question. But still, Chris, I really do wonder if Chris ever sat down and thought, man, maybe I need to stop this now because of what Alex said. Just a thought.
So you're going to hell, right?
Well, I'm making atones for that.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, I asked you to give Mao a forgiveness blessing, and that was the most lackluster one I've ever seen you do. Do you believe that black magic works, Chris?
There's a chance that it can, but
not if you're Christian, because the Christian God says that all magic and supernatural stuff that doesn't come from God is false. Yeah, I
have no comment to that.
Okay, well, let's go back to the gay thing, because, we've established that you don't really know a whole lot about the religion you claim to believe in.
So we'll get to that line he says at the end there in a second, but I love how Chris jumps right to, oh, he's atoning for this, he's atoning for this. He wouldn't have even knew that was a bad thing up until Alec brought it up right then and there, He's just trying to cover his ass right now. And again, even when Alec tells him, yeah, you believe in black magic, that's not a Christian thing, he still has to maintain his own little, like his own weird mindset, by saying that, oh, I have no comment on that, meaning that he just doesn't want to answer it. He doesn't want to admit that his curses and all aren't real, even though as a Christian, the thing he's proclaiming to be, you're not allowed to believe that. So, yeah. And then that line at the end when Alec tells him, you claim to believe in this thing that you don't even know nothing about. I don't know the line verbatim, but you heard it right there. And it's just, it's so true. And it's all backed up by the shit Chris has said here right now in these past couple clips, He claims to just, he has no comment on the black magic stuff because he doesn't want to give it up, but it's against his religion. He's never even read the Bible, which most Christians haven't done themselves anyway, but he still wants to act like he can preach it and point to it, and no, you just gotta learn when to pick your spots, and you gotta learn what to say, and it's just Chris never has the right thing to say, and he never will, and you'll learn that through the last hour of these calls, because Chris continues to make a fool out of himself and prove and show to everybody that he knows nothing about nothing, and it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame, but you can't expect any more from Chris. He's Chris at the end of the day. So, I want to give shout-outs to Vanessa, Krabby, Your Mom, Club Doom, Cody Hale, Echo Spectre, Scaly Schisms, Sky, The Night Owl, Kaitan, Fiendland's Party Place, Churlish, Music Biz Marty's Bong, Pythea, Moochie, Mick Surly, Grant M, Adrian Lara, Sky Fitzpatrick, Chris Chan's Fanta Bottle, Brian 1, Grant M, Alright, Stingy, the Ghostbusters fan, Akiba's Beat fan, Isaiah, Blake Austin, G-Man, Vaga, Trademark, and Gypsy Pauls, who I believe I accidentally called Gypsy Panda in the last episode, so I apologize for that one, brother. Thank you all for your support, and thank you to all you goats who made it to the end of this video as well. All y'all are goats, and I can never thank y'all enough for all the support you always show on these videos, and I literally will never be able to thank y'all enough for that, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we're going to have many more of these out this week. We're going to knock this call out. I want to finally get done with this. So yeah, expect longer episodes. I had to throw a quick one today for y'all today. I apologize for the short duration, but there's always going to be more tomorrow, my friends, and I promise you'll have that to look forward to. So other than that, the weekend's only a day away. You got that to look forward to. And like I always say, just find tons of stuff to look forward to, because that's what makes life fun, my friends, when you just got a whole bunch of stuff planned, and you just got, that shit's about to get good. So everything's going to be good, my friends, and I hope to see y'all in the next one, because until then, I'm out of here, and take care. I'll see y'all then.